Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another HORRORific News article. As you know, this is this little segment I'm trying to get going, just find some relevant topics, interesting little tidbits, and things going on in the horror world that we should might be interested in. So, this article I found bloody disgusting. As usual, I'll link the main one in the description. But why you should be making a horror film right now? A guest post from screenwriter Seth M Sherwood. I just know this is something I've been going on about. You're probably sick of listening to me about it, but with things going on now, this is definitely the time. So let's go through and have a nosy. Right, so raise your hand if your blood pressure spikes when Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, or Deadline throws out a headline like, "Horror is back." It happens as regularly as Michael Myers comes back for another night of stabbing, specifically when a horror film does record-busting business at the box office. But we know the truth. Horror never went anywhere. Now, isn't that true? It's always something that studios are afraid to admit that, I don't know, they'll happily burn hundreds of millions of dollars on flops, and yet when it comes to making a horror movie, oh, here's $5,000, crack on. Or if there's, particularly indie ones, manage to get some of the smaller studios, oh, here you go, you've got 2 weeks, and that includes editing, get a movie out. You're like, really? There's always been this weird attitude with the mainstream towards our lovely little genre, which one of my missions is to push back against it all times. But anyway, let's crack on. Let's hear what Mr. Sherwood has to say. So, horror is the only genre of film that I can nearly speak, right? Horror is the only genre of film to be continuously successful since the invention of cinema, outside of standard drama as well, fair enough. While genre tends to wax and wane, horror simply adapts and transforms itself. Well, as I've said again, horror isn't just the slasher. Horror is a wide range of genres, and it takes in modern technology, adapts it, it takes in cultures, it travels the world, it travels space, travels time. Like, if it exists, horror's been there already before like mainstream even thinks about it. So here we go. This is why I say you should be making a horror film. And you've heard me, I totally agree. Furthermore, you should be making a horror film now. The WGA and SAG AFTRA strikes taught us something important. Even if the big companies deny it, there's an implosion happening with the behemoth streaming platforms. Well, we're seeing it because these companies are so massive and so much venture capital, they can afford to carry on their course and they can't change or adapt. And nobody's going to the cinema anymore. Nobody's interested. Nobody's excited about these sort of movies. But you get a horror movie in the community and get the right people talking about it, and there's a buzz, still is. And that could be somebody's movie they've done with their phone, even, or it could be a full-on production. I mean, there's loads of stuff going on, loads of stuff to be excited about. You don't have to rely on a big studio to pump out the latest generic thing. And if you noticed lately with this horror, they're sanitizing it. I think it goes on the big screen. I'll use, what was it? Insidious come out. It was Friday Nights at Freddy's, isn't it? Five Nights at Freddy's, that's the one. Aye, I forgot it already, but that was generic. You know what I mean? Generic, blah, things like Megan. Yeah, they're fun movies to have, but they're not horror. They're not deep horror. They're not going to shock you or anything. It's just all nice and safe. So there's a chance here to do something, exciting, keep it going. Anyway, let's go back to the article. What's my evidence for saying this when everyone else is doing the opposite? I'm not a media analyst, obviously. I'm a mid-level horror writer, out in trenches, trying to sell work, get writing assignments, staff on shows, and make a living. As I take meetings and trying to get stuff made, it's becoming clear. For streaming to survive, it's going to need to rely on more ad-supported models. This means less money up front for development and production budgets. This means streamers leaning into acquisitions curated to match their brand. This is how A24 built their rep, by the way. That's fair enough. This whole idea of just throwing money at things, pilots aren't even getting made anymore for likes of streaming. They just throw money at it that gets made, and if it's successful or not, they'll always find out too late. Like, they're way behind. As spooky season comes to close, well, way behind us now by the time I read this, but I look back at my monthly viewing of horror films, and I'm all over Shudder, Screambox, Freevee, Pluto TV, and Tubi. You go to any horror group, any page, and we're all familiar with those sites. While Shudder's needs budget and mandate can vary year to year, it's been successful programming for horror fans for years through a combination of short-term licenses of older film acquisitions and a few self-produced productions. Yeah, that's my major complaint with Shudder is it's so hit and miss. And if a platform should be mopping up all the old classics, and you should be getting like box sets, if you want to watch Friday the 13th box set, it should be in Shudder. If you want to do Hellraiser, it should be in Shudder. I don't understand why they haven't got the pulling power to get those sort of. I know I've done things like Phantasm and so on, which is great. But yeah, there's a gold mine of revisiting those old franchises and box sets and doing trilogies and complete sets. But yeah, I don't know why they don't. That's one of my disappointments. A lot of indie stuff can be really hit or miss. Like if you've seen our channel reviewing it, there's some absolute stinkers on that. There's some fun stuff too. So we'll see as anything. That's a chance you take, obviously, with putting faith in letting directors do their own vision. It's not going to be for everybody, but that is fine. Freevee, Pluto TV, and Tubi are not producing original material, but they have proven that people are willing to sit through a couple of ads to watch something they love. While I'm not thrilled with the idea of commercials on Netflix, especially on top of subscription fees. Yeah, if you're paying a subscription fee, shouldn't be seeing ads. But the thing is, and this is what people don't understand, they're trying to go back to the old way of cable TV, things that people unplugged for. I remember back then it was the thing, becoming unplugged, as in you turned, you unsubscribe from your TV channels and you just went to streaming. Obviously, the companies are feeling the pinch, so they're trying to be sneaky, but a trick they've got in the book to go back and do that. So, sometimes it's benefits you to be aware and then don't play the game. You have the most powerful tool in the entertainment industry, and that's your wallet. And you decide what you subscribe to and what you don't, and you can influence things. You don't have to shout and scream. You don't have to make videos. You don't have to protest or picket anywhere. If you don't like something or the direction of way someone's going, you just don't give them your money. And guess what? It sorts itself out right and quickly. I don't understand why people don't do it. It's like going to a shop and the shop owner punches you in the face every time you turn up and tells you you're a scumbag and charges double for your item, and then takes one of the items off and then throws something at you as you're leaving the door, and then you go back to that shop again. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, AVOD, which I had to look up, by the way. AVOD is advertising-based video on demand. Is like it or not the future of streaming. The industry talks about it like it's a new idea, but it's not. This is idiot speak. The idea is not new. This is how TV existed for over half a century. While existing studios will always be able to fund their tentpole shows and movies, there's going to be more mid-sized streamers looking at mid-sized projects because they have less money up front. And that's fair enough. A fair subscription-based service, you produce it, you create it, and then you make a deal, or your agent, it depends what level you are. And this is where it's good to network and connect. There's no reason why a lot of small groups can not come together to at least get a wee bit of pulling power. What I'm seeing is there's a lot of sort of big names that have made it, and then all little people trying to struggle on by and just about get their stuff made. Network, even though technically it's competition, people watch more than one movie. So there's no reason why two independent studios, for example, can't come together to get a bit of pulling power just for distribution. That's how the big companies do it. Writers come together, create anthologies. There's loads of stuff you can do just with a wee bit of just a thought, and talk to people. Set the ego aside. Talk to people. Now's the time to do it. Like this guy's saying, he's hitting the nail on the head here. This is where horror is ahead of the game. We're already doing this. The time to be making your own short film, your own films, shorts, or even pilots is now. Forgetting everything else I've said, keep in mind 2 of the most profitable horror projects of last year, Smile and Terrifier 2, had humble beginnings. Smile was based on a short film, Alert the Clown started as an anthology. We've talked about both those movies, a lot of fun. We've got sequels coming out for both next year, I believe. So, you know what I mean? It's possible. And even look recently, Five Nights at Freddy's, it was made on a stupidly small budget and made 40 million at the box office. So the profit margin, think about the profit margin is times what you put in. These movies make profit. Insidious Red Door made profit. God, what else? The Nun 2 made profit. These movies are all making profit while not even during Halloween. Five Nights at Freddy's the only one that really came out at Halloween time. I mean, the other ones came out before, out of season, but they made profits while these big, huge companies are like bombing like crazy. Horror's always. The reason I go on about this as well, I've talked to quite a lot of horror creators over the times of this podcast, and there's almost an apologetic nature. Like, there's almost this feeling of I have to apologize for being a horror fan. I have to apologize for being a horror creator, and you do not have to apologize in the slightest. You don't need to virtue signal. You don't need to jump on bandwagons to feel you fit in. You're already ahead of the curve. If you're in the horror genre, you're already the mainstream hasn't even thought of it. It's already been done 100 times. All people ask is, you like the material, be respectful, treat everybody, as part of the family. That's it. That's always been that simple. But yeah, people feel they have to apologize for being a horror critic. It's like, no, don't. You have to understand, if you're a horror fan and you create horror, you are already way ahead of the curve. And never apologize for that. You should have pride in it. Pride that you are part of this genre, because look around you. Just take a look over the fence at what's going around and look at all the trash fires, to use the American term, about the place. While horror just ticks along, does its own thing, and isn't under some sort of strange collective. Each independent project has got its own flavor, and that, there's copies, there's franchises, but there's too much variety to say that. You can't pin horror down. People try, and that's why they fail, and that's why there's misconceptions. But it's there's absolutely no need. But let's go back to this. I'm not saying Hollywood box office have to be your goal. Staying indie is legit and viable. I'm also not saying any of this is simple and easy to do. But the pipeline for horror is there at all levels. And the shift in the industry will prove it is viable. Despite the challenges, as a horror creator right here, right now, you're in a better position than ever to break in by making your own thing. I've said as well, cinemas are crying out for movies. If you have a local cinema and you have film projects, ask them, can you run an event? If you know creators in the area, get 4 or 5 films, do an event. Pretty much, if it's an independent or a small chain, let them run an event, one of them. If it's successful, they'll replicate it, and that'll give them extra income, and it'll keep the doors open, because that's where people still like to see movies. It's just that there's nothing but absolute guff being put out today. So there's more than enough opportunities. Just reach out, and if you're worried about doing your own, this is where you network. You make friends with other directors. I've seen a lot with especially independent directors. It seem to be like single wizards in the tower. But you look at the big corporations, directors they aren't islands. Directors collaborate and work with each other. They support each other's projects. They get producer credits. There's ways to do it. And I think now is the time to make the push, especially for independent creators. Now is the time to do it. This guy's saying it's an opportunity. If you miss it, then I don't know what to say. I think this is where he goes on to do a bit of a plug, but may as well. I'm reading the article. So, of course, making that thing is never easy. Lucky for you, we live in a time where information is no longer at a premium. There are countless low-cost film programs, online resources, and books out there that can give you the info you need. Or simply reach out and talk to somebody. You'd be surprised how collaborative people are. As a horror writer, I'm happy to share what's on my brain. I frequently like to tweet screenwriting tips that are specific to writing horror. These are collected in my Substack, which you can follow for free at Seth M Sherwood.substack.com. So if you're interested in writing horror scripts, you can also go get my Scary Movie Writer Guide. Blah, blah. So what I'll do is, like I said, I'll put the link to this in the description so you can check out this article full, and then you can go to these links and check it out. Go to the channel. Look at the people we have talked to as well. We've talked to multiple directors and people who've done numerous movies, people starting out, all different levels, writers, talk to actors, you name it, merchandise creators. There's no reason why people can't get together with a creative mind and get some things done. But there you go. There's that. It's nice to see someone. I'm not feeling like a maniac talking to me own about this. Glad to see someone else recognizes it, and the opportunities there. And it's also nice to have positive articles as well. You know, there's too much negativity out there, too much doom and gloom. It's like, flipping make, create, exercise your brain, express yourself. It's the best thing you can do. But there you go. What do you think of this here? Leave a comment, and anything else you want me to talk about, let me know. But there you go. Until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.